14. I got expelled. But you could get a job anywhere. You know, the boss give you any grief. You just throw the job in, go up the coast, come back Monday, get another job somewhere else. Work everywhere. And I've never worried about consequences. Never in my life did I worry about anything. There was no God. There was just me, my strengths, and what I could carve out of life. I got married when I was 20 to a beautiful lady. I'm still married today to her, 47 years later. And I decided once I got married, I better steady down a little bit, become stable. So I got a job in a quarry. And there was me and the boss working one night, and he said, I want you to get the stone off this mountain, and you get it going, you get it moving, and then you stand back. Now, that's the boss's way of doing it, but I got my own way. So I figured I'd speed this up. So I'm running backwards and forwards on this stone, getting it moving, while I stumbled and fell over. And as I say, there's no God, there's just me. Well, I got my legs first, and I couldn't move, and it kept coming like a glacier. I had a pick with me that I was getting moving with, and it got up to about here. There was no one with me, it was night time. I was working a night shift with the boss. He was driving the truck down, storing the stone. And when it got to about here, I realised it wasn't going to stop. And at 20 years old, this was my tomb. Well, I'm not a mug. I would have called out to a cabbage. I would have called out to anything that could get me out of that trouble. So I cried out. Now in the 70s, Jesus was in a lot of music in the 70s. Fire and Rain. I guess the Lord Must Live in New York City. Heaps of songs about Jesus. And I think the Jesus people were around making a nuisance of themselves. And so just as it buried me completely, I yelled out, Lord, save me. Nothing happened. Rock kept coming and coming. It was up near Rosewood, which is the other side of Ipswich, and it's a coal mining area. So the word went out. The mine rescue showed up, the pub emptied, all the miners come up, and it took them about 6 hours to dig me out. The pick had ended up in my chest and bowled me over. I was face down, and it formed an air pocket in there. I reckon I had about 6 ton on me. Well, they dug me out, and there I was. I've always been a skinny mini. I weigh about 70 kilo. Well, when you get compressed like that and they take the weight off sudden, you're balloon up. So I was like the Michelin Man. I think I put on about 20, 25 kilo in a matter of hours, just every stretches. So they cut you all over the place, because if they don't cut you, your skin's just going to rip like a melon. So they guide it so it doesn't tear arteries. And I'm lying in hospital there, and I'm out of my face. I'm just big balloon, black eyes, just absolutely smashed. Kidneys collapse because you get toxic shock syndrome, and your kidneys just can't handle it. They just shut down. So we've got renal failure. We've got all types of crap going on. And my sister-in-law was Christian, and she went to a church, and the whole church rose and prayed for me. I didn't know anything about it. They wanted to cut my legs off because the blood congealed down in lower extremities. And as I say, I'd been married 6 weeks. And my missus, who had the right to make that decision, just couldn't bring herself to do that. My old man is a tough old boy. And he stepped in, he said, no, we're not going to do that. We're just going to wait and see. He knew that I wasn't the type of kid that could have gone through life with no legs, you know, just the way it is. And 1 month later, I walked out of that hospital like you see me now. I haven't been sick since. Oh, I tell you, I'm getting a bit sick now. But for 40 years, I've had remarkable health. I crawl around the floor in my workshop. You know, there's no arthritis, there's no pain. I haven't been back to the doctor. It's just complete healing by Jesus Christ. There's something happened. I believe I was saved when I cried out. Yeah. My light was on, but I made no response. So when I was walking around for the next couple of months, years, stuff would happen all around me. And I would know that something was going to happen to this person, or something was going to happen here. I thought, wow, I wonder what this is. And I cared about people. I'd done a complete shift in my thinking. And then I started to think, I think I've been saved. because there was I knew no Christians, no one could tell me about this stuff. So I sat in there in my bed one night, 2 o'clock in the morning. Wife was asleep, and I just said, if you're there, you know, real faith prayer, this, eh? If you're there, what's going on? And he said, I am the one talking to you now. And my head snapped up. It was 47 years ago. And he has taken me from being a cruiser lifeless, who didn't care what happened, just floating in life, like I wasn't camping, I was the loser, you know? I owe him everything I've got now.
Yeah.
I see miracles, provision, protection. I walk a blessed life. I now own my own engineering company, and people say they'd like to be rich so they can give. And I'm not skiting here, I give away thousands and I love it. I love it. I love doing things that just honour the name of the Lord.
Yeah, come on.
Because I wasn't looking for him, and I don't know about anybody here, but he was looking for me.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
he's a hunter, and he doesn't stop. He doesn't stop. And I love what Steve said. You know, he's on you. He's on your case. I could have thought him right to this day, and he was chasing me across the paddock, saying, come home, son, come home. And I'm home today. I'm with the Lord. I could drop dead on the spot right now, and I wouldn't give a monkey's. It's great to be in the kingdom.
Yeah,
God
come
bless
on.
us all.